Chapter 12. The Energy and the Assistants. Much of the information included in this book was accumulated during the 1980s when I was a fledgling investigator. I was convinced that I had all the answers to life.
If the spirit is dwelling in a body, is he not incarnate?
Well, if that would be a universal incarnation.
That is accurate.
Are you saying that he has come back to Earth?
He is here. He is all around you.
It's not just as one individual person.
That is accurate.
We thought maybe you meant that he had come back into physical form.
He has come back in physical form, but he is not in, as you would say, one single individual body. The memory of one of you is shared by each and every one of you.
Many times at these meetings, spirits...
I was told that I had passed the tests and would be allowed to have the answers to any questions I wished to ask. This was because I had remained true to the material and had not censored or changed it. I consider myself the reporter, the psychic investigator and researcher of lost knowledge.
Questioner: at what stage does a planet achieve social memory? I am Ra. A mind-body-spirit social complex becomes a social memory complex when its entire group of entities are of one orientation or seeking. The group memory lost to the individuals in the roots of the tree of mind then becomes known to the social complex, thus creating a social memory complex. The advantages of this complex are the relative lack of distortion in understanding the social beingness and the relative lack of distortion in pursuing the direction of seeking, for all understanding distortions are available to the entities of the society.
Introduction. It is highly recommended that you read The Custodians first before tackling the information in this book. This is a continuation or sequel to that book. The Custodians was a report of my work on UFO abduction cases since 1986 and
be the color of the hair of one of the actors in this one frame. And from that information they try to build what the film was about. The plot of the story, who wrote it, what the music was about, and all that. And it's impossible. They need to learn more and observe more before they can figure out what is truly going on. They have already made the correct connection between this new physics and the ancient science of mysticism. But the ancient science of mysticism is partially left over from the former civilization, and partially from millennia of observation. Observation collected of these things that are caused by this fog of energy that people have observed and tried to explain.
But how can they get the whole picture? They can't see these things.
No, but they can observe effects of these things, which would help them to understand what these are. The main thing they need to do is keep their minds open to anything, no matter how preposterous sounding or how improbable it may seem at first. Because all improbabilities and all things that seem preposterous are part of the universe too. Things called chance and coincidence are general labels of things that have been observed that are caused by this.
You said this was based on the science of mysticism. Many people think of that as witchcraft and the occult. Is that what you mean?
Yes, partially. In the age you are presently in, people have cut themselves off from their roots. And in the process of doing this, they have denied mysticism, saying they are a modern and educated people, that science explains everything. When science finally advances to its ultimate peak, everybody will be mystics. By mysticism, I refer to anything that deals with the higher levels of things, including witchcraft, occult, the different mystic religions from the East, Buddhism or Hinduism, and such as that.
Many people just lump it all together as being on the dark side.
Yes, the power can be perverted and used for the wrong reasons, as can anything. But it is to mankind's benefit to become familiar and comfortable with this power and use it for solving his problems. There are still cultures that are more open to this than others. In your culture, it has closed this. But there are many individuals that practice this and use it in their lives and help keep their traditions alive, which is important. That seems to be a characteristic of mankind. Things that they don't understand, they lump together in categories and shut them up in a closet and forget about them, or try to. And everything that exists can be learned from, and you can benefit from everything that exists, some things more than others, 'tis true, but in general. For example, in your science of medicine, they have developed vaccine. And so now vaccines are used by everybody to help prevent disease and prevent an imbalance of the body. In former civilizations, their sciences developed what is now called mysticism, and everyone used it to help prevent imbalance of the harmonious whole. By its very nature, it accomplished what all of your individual sciences are trying to accomplish now. Their sciences started out as similar individual sciences, and then united as they became far advanced in the fields of knowledge, and they realized that everything is one, is a harmonious whole. They united, and the people learned and applied the knowledge that developed. It is what is known as mysticism, because they had aspired to the ultimate, and found that this underlying energy organizes everything. And if one is aware of this, and knows how this can be altered or manipulated to achieve what you wish while staying in harmony with it, then all that needs to be done is done.
You mean they found they didn't need it for medicine?
When they got to this level, where they could be in harmony with the whole, medicine was no longer needed. It was superfluous, because it was rare if someone became ill. They knew where they were out of balance, and they altered their energies to put everything back in balance. Then they would no longer be ill.
Can you tell me what civilizations developed this to such a high degree?
It was several civilizations, but they were in contact with each other. It was a worldwide type of knowledge, but different parts of the world had subtly different ways of looking at things due to their culture. There was the civilization of Atlantis, and there was a civilization in South America. And there were several civilizations in the East, one in India, one in the mountains in what is now called Tibet and Sri Lanka. and two different civilizations sprang up in the place called China, but they were living in harmony with each other. They were considered as one civilization with a dual type of culture. And these civilizations all contributed to the development of the science from their various viewpoints to help make it a complete whole.
Were these other civilizations in existence at the same time as Atlantis?
Yes, Atlantis predated most of them, but they were all old civilizations. The civilization in Tibet and South America started about the same time as Atlantis, and the other civilizations came a little later. But they existed long enough that they all advanced to a high degree.
I think many people have the idea that those civilizations came along after the destruction.
A new set of civilizations did come after the destruction of Atlantis. When Atlantis was destroyed, it shook the whole world, insofar as human interaction was concerned, sciences, art, etc. The whole world felt its effects. Atlantis was the major civilization, the center of civilization in general, and when it was destroyed it seemed to have sapped the vital energy from the other civilizations, so that they went into decline. But these other civilizations gave rise to the present-day world.
Brenda.
I'm looking at the entire structure of time. It's very intricate. It's almost like a hollow globe made of fine silver wire. And all of these wires are going around and intersecting with each other, rather like a three-dimensional model of the atom, and how you see the electrons going around. There's a series of silver wires going around like that, and there is another series of silver wires going around at right angles to intersect with all of these, and it forms this hollow globe. It's hard to describe. It's very intricate.
It sounds complicated.
And one thing to give you hope with it being structured like this, that it means anything can happen, because all the possible combinations are present here.
You mean it's not set or predestined to where it has to be?
No. This is the reason why magic and such works. Because if you want something to happen and you meditate on it and project mental energy towards this happening, it will cause your life to be directed into that time stream.
Brenda.
It may be rehashing what you have heard before, but it cannot be emphasized too much. First of all, you must realize that anything that generates energy puts out vibrations. Things that generate light, which is a form of energy, put out light vibrations, and you see them as radiating, such as a light bulb. Or something that generates sound. You see it vibrating and you hear the sound, but it's still vibration and it's still energy. Your brain also generates energy. Anything that happens in your brain generates energy, and hence generates vibrations, which means any of your bodily processes, or any of your thoughts, or any emotion, puts out vibrations. And these vibrations affect the ether that surrounds you. You're surrounded by and filled with and shot through with vibrations from billions of different sources. These vibrations are of all levels and strengths, and the energy put out by your brain is sufficient to affect some of these levels